Do you recognize this building? It's the Nurse Trucking Company, which has been shut down since January of last year, after the village accused them of selling liquor without a license during a party hosted on the property. At the time, the mayor allegedly tried to shut the business down completely. Now that same building has suddenly gone up in flames, and the fire isn't just suspicious, it's connected to Mayor Tiffany Henyard in a very troubling way. When I first saw the fire, something about it felt familiar. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had seen that building before, and now I know why. The way the fire burst out of the windows was almost cinematic. Flames shot out with eerie perfection. And while some people want to criticize the firefighters, this is exactly the kind of dangerous situation they walk into, risking their lives with zero warning. We've just obtained new video showing the exact moment the building exploded into flames, engulfing not just the structure, but also several cars. But here's where it gets really interesting. WGN investigates. Revealed that this property was raided by the Illinois Secretary of State Police back in December. Out of 50 cars parked there, 10 were confirmed stolen. The property owner, Larry Gardner, claimed he had rented the space to others and didn't. No, the cars were stolen, and that's not the only red flag. This location has a shady history. Remember when the new police cars in Dolton mysteriously disappeared? People were asking, where are those cars? Well, this site is now giving off the same suspicious energy. Could this be where those vehicles ended up? And now, just like that, the entire place goes up in flames, right when the feds are snooping around? The timing is too strange to ignore. Back in late 2023, Larry Gardner spoke out, accusing Mayor Tiffany Henyard of political retaliation. He claimed she wanted him to keep paying her, and when he refused, she came after him. Gardner didn't respond to requests for comment after the fire, but the state fire marshal is now involved, investigating what really happened. Thankfully, no injuries were reported, but the fire has reignited serious questions. This isn't the first time Mayor Henyard has faced accusations. A year or two ago, there were already calls for a federal investigation. Trustees, business owners, and even the Attorney General's office raised concerns about corruption, misuse of funds, and political retaliation. One trustee said, "There's a lot of mismanagement, and we just want some clarity." These aren't isolated incidents. They're part of a growing pattern. Running a business in Dolton has become increasingly difficult. Many local establishments have been shut down recently over supposed licensing issues. One such business is Lawrence Garden, which is tied to a warehouse that many people might recognize, especially now that it's gone up in flames. The building housed a massive number of hidden cars, raising serious suspicions. And while the owner, Larry Gardner, refused to keep paying Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the implication is clear. She only had leverage because he had something to hide. That's the dangerous game of dealing with someone like Tiffany. If you have skeletons in your closet, she'll use them to control you. That's how corrupt power works. It doesn't thrive on honesty, it thrives on secrets. People like her keep others on a leash, not through merit, but through manipulation. Gardner's refusal to continue giving money led to increasing pressure from the mayor's office. And with that warehouse fire, it seems someone wanted those secrets erased. Fast. This same building has been sitting idle since January of last year, ever since the village accused Gardner of hosting an illegal party with alcohol sold without a license. He denied the charges, and a judge ruled in his favor. But that didn't stop Tiffany. She made it a point to humiliate him publicly, raiding the location and claiming it was being used as a nightclub masquerading as a candy store. The whole thing was bizarre, and Tiffany's obsession with the building raised more questions than answers. And yet her behavior was always laced with mockery and contradictions. She'd laugh at the building's name, question what kind of candy was really being sold, and make petty comments about how Gardner wore his phone on his shirt. Her entire tone made it clear, this wasn't about justice or safety, it was personal. As odd as it sounds, her insults weren't just unprofessional, they were revealing. They exposed just how petty and vindictive she could be when someone refused to play along. Gardner, for his part, says everything changed when he stopped making donations. When Tiffany first came into office, she allegedly asked several business owners, including Gardner, for a $3,500 donation to the village. And while the FBI hasn't officially confirmed an investigation. Gardner claims he's been in regular contact with federal authorities. According to him, multiple agencies are now looking into Dolton and Mayor Henyard, and it's not just the FBI. He says, others are involved too, though it's unclear which ones. This revelation should alarm Tiffany. The man she's targeted most aggressively has been cooperating with investigators for months. While she's been stirring up drama, Gardner has quietly been providing information to the feds. And if what he says is true, the scope of the investigation is much larger than anyone realized. What began as a dispute over licensing and donations may now unravel into a full-scale corruption probe, with Henyard at the center of it all. So, we be patient. And then there's Mayor Henyard's namesake charity, Tiffany Henyard Cares. On Wednesday, the Illinois Attorney General's office sent a cease and desist letter over the foundation's failure to report how it spends its funds and who has benefited. That's serious. That's not some routine paperwork issue. That's the kind of thing that draws attention from the top law enforcement officials in the state. And yet, a spokesperson for the village and Mayor Henyard said today they're not aware of any investigations against her, stating, Mayor Tiffany Henyard and the village of Dolton have not received any subpoenas and have not been contacted by the FBI or any other law enforcement agency. Yeah, they haven't contacted you because they're contacting everybody else about you. That's how these things work. Once they have all their evidence lined up, once every single piece is in place, then they're coming for your dumbass. Why would they come ask you questions right now? The whole reason they're investigating is because you're a liar. Why would they waste their time letting you lie to their face? They wouldn't. And that's the answer. It's not silence. It's strategy. See, this evening's special trustee meeting is scheduled for 5:30 p.m. And of course, Tiffany was going to show up and kick up some, Oh, I didn't even mean to rhyme that, but it rhymed. Then, it gets even wilder. Rob and arson investigators had just wrapped up at the scene, but then came the fire. A suspicious one. You heard that right. Arson. That's not accidental. Arson is when a fire is intentionally set. That means crime. Yeah, look at that word. Suspicious. Say it with me now. Suspicious. Also known as sus. And Tiffany, girl, I think this is going on your list of possible crimes. Put it in the chat. Do y'all think Tiffany had anything to do with this fire? Maybe there was something in that building. Something she didn't want discovered. Something that someone was holding over her. And maybe she thought, I'm just going to destroy it. Because this fire wasn't sloppy. It was efficient. Very efficient. Either that, or that building was made of papier-mâché. One or the other. But the way it burst out of those windows, so synchronized, so quick, it felt deliberate. It's giving suspicious. It's giving arson. That's the vibe here. What do y'all think? Arson or nah? Now, what's left behind is a heap of burned debris, smoke still rising. Neighbors said they heard what sounded like a crash, then came the flames. A devastating inferno tore through the walls of that Dolton business. It sounded like a boom, someone said. The fire left cars hollowed, the building gutted. It's a husk of what it used to be. State fire marshals spent hours sifting through the debris because this was no normal fire. This building had been standing for decades. Then, in one night, gone. It was here since I've been here. Over 20 years, a neighbor said. Now it's just gone. History, wiped out, burned away in a matter of hours. That business? It was called Yvette Trucking and Warehouse. They offered moving services, U-Haul rentals, trailers, towing equipment. At least they did until Tuesday morning. That's when firefighters got the call. 142nd and Dolton. The flames were just steps from people's homes. That's how close it came to becoming a much bigger tragedy. And here's the thing. This wasn't a known fire hazard. That's what's strange. But still, it burned fast. Too fast. Which makes you wonder, how could it burn like that if it wasn't built to burn? The roof didn't even hesitate. It just caved in. Gave right away. Didn't even pretend to hold strong. That roof was submissive as hell. No resistance. It didn't even try. Now it's at the center of a possible arson investigation. That's a big deal. And it's a little scary. Because if Tiffany is involved, if her name comes up in this too, she's done. Done. Because this time, it wouldn't be about payroll fraud or charity scams. This would be something darker. And if she's connected to it, even slightly, she's not walking away from it. And I'm not saying she did it. But personally, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be surprised. If she was trying to get rid of something, some evidence, something dangerous to her, that's what I'm saying. Because I don't trust her at all. And anything negative somebody tells me about her, I'm inclined to believe it. That's just the truth. That's the honest-to-God truth. So thanks for hanging out. And listen, y'all behave, because I'm not going to. This rabbit hole is getting deeper and deeper. And Tiffany, why does everything you touch burn down? That's not just strange, that's weird. Okay? Mama loves you. Yes, she do. Peace.